I have a brief question, because you guys are writers, right? I just posted a tweet, and we had a long discussion in our coaches meeting. So our players were in the locker room, lying or laying down. Lying? You sure? So I told our coaches, someone taught me you lie to get laid, right? Sorry. So excited to be here. Really to be here in another Final Four to play against NC State. Super cool opportunity for us to play in another Final Four, to play in the last weekend of all of college basketball, and play on the biggest stage. This is kind of what our players came to South Carolina for, and I'm so happy we can help them meet this moment.
At this time, we'll take questions from our student athletes. I'll start here with you, Nancy, then I'll move over to Peyton and or the gentleman with the state.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. This is for both of you guys. What have you seen, or how have you seen women's basketball and the attention around it change? And where do you think it should go next, or where do you want to see it go next?
We're going to start with Bree.
I mean, the viewership is up. A lot of people are starting to tune into just women's sports, especially basketball. What I'd like to see going forward is just to see it keep going up, especially the viewership, seeing lots of people selling out games and stuff like that.
And Te-Hina?
Yeah, like she said, I love where we are growing the sports, not only women's basketball, but all around. And I'm just really excited to see how the growth keeps growing. And I just hope that, you know, when your favorite college player is done playing college, that they follow them to the league, and that's going to bring us more views and just more attention to, you know, women in general as well. And so I'm just really happy to see our growth, and it's going to keep on increasing and going up from here.
Peyton or?
Peyton Titus, the state newspaper. For both of you, you had some special guests at practice yesterday. What was it like to have Asia and Chelsea there, and did they have any kind of words of wisdom for you guys for the weekend?
Again, we'll start with Te-Hina first, and then we'll move to Bree.
Yeah, no, it was great. When you see pros like that come in and, you know, we're once in our shoes, it's just a reminder that we can be like them as well. So it was a really great sight to see them and just be able to, we weren't personally able to talk to them because we were practicing, but just seeing Ray's reaction and see Chelsea Gray was really cool because I know that's one of her favorite players. So I know she's going to be locked in this weekend, even seeing Chelsea Gray, or if she didn't, but I'm just really excited for Ray to, meet her in that moment.
We're going to move to our left. We'll go to Judy, then we'll come back over to our right with Mitchell, and then I'll get the next. Judy, if you could raise your hand so the microphone can get to you.
Thank you very much. Judy Gatson from WIS News in Columbia, South Carolina. Bree and Te-Hina, I want to ask you to speak to little girls back home, especially in rural South Carolina, who may not have even traveled to Columbia, much less out of the state, and the inspiration that you are to them in being able to achieve their own goals.
I'm sorry, Bree, please proceed.
Just the little girls, just stay consistent with what you want. If your goal is to be a national champion, become a pro, just stay consistent with it. It'll happen for you if you put in the work behind it. And yeah.
Te-Hina?
My word of advice is to trust your process, trust your journey. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone's speed is different, so just follow yours, follow your heart, and just trust you and trust God because He's always going to be there, and just embrace your journey and just enjoy the process.
We're going to move to our right. Mitchell, if you could raise your hand so they can see you.
Hi, Bree. Hey, how you doing? Mitchell Northam with North Carolina Public Radio. You were a freshman with Sanaya in 21-22. Just kind of wondering if you've kept up with her at all and sort of how you've seen her game grow as a player, sort of from an X's and O standpoint as you prepare to face her now on the other side.
Well, I'll say I don't really talk to her too much. However, I've seen her game grow a lot. She's a really good point guard. Can really know the ball really well. Her defense is good. So I think I've seen a lot of improvement in her game.
We're going to move to our right. Andrea, if you could raise your hand, they can get the microphone to you.
Andrea Adelson with ESPN. Bree, this one's for you. After going through last season and not ending the way that you guys wanted, I'm wondering whether you changed anything about your approach headed into this season, as now you're basically sitting in the same position.
I think it's just kind of hard to apply. I mean, it's kind of hard to apply what happened last season to this team. It's just a completely different team. I know we all want the same thing, so it's not like we have to have a conversation with anybody, like, you know, it's never that conversation. I feel like everybody has the same goal, and I think we're ready.
We'll take our next question. We're going to stay to our left. If you could raise your hand so they can see you.
Hi. Kayla Sweezy with Rising Media Stars. It's been really fun watching you guys and the way that you guys interact with Coach. So as a viewer, it's just been really inspiring to see, because that is a unique experience for some student athletes. So what is it about Coach that makes you guys love playing for her?
We'll start with Te-Hina, and then we'll move to Bree.
It's been fun. I think she's done a great job adjusting to us, and I think in the summer she was just trying to hammer down like so much, and like I don't think our team could have handled that much. And she's done a great job just adjusting to our personalities as individuals and as a group. And I think as a group we're like crazy, and she describes us as daycare, and I completely agree with that. I mean, they're in nap time right now, so or quiet time, so. She's done a great job. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't realize that about her, but she just pours into our lives so much, and she's done a great job adjusting to us, and we're just going to keep being who we are and just keep being the fun, crazy group that she loves.
We're going to stay to our left. We'll hit Tom, and then we'll come back to Rob, and then up to the front to James.
Tom Withers, Associated Press. You guys seem to be lying in the weeds a little bit. See what I did there, Coach? There's so much attention on the other semifinal, yet you guys are undefeated. Is there almost a feeling of, hey, how about us?
We'll start with Bree.
What do you mean, hey, about what?
Like there's so much attention.
They don't think we get much.
Yeah.
We're not getting much coverage.
Oh, I think I had said this earlier to somebody else, but I said I feel like, you know, we've noticed that, you know, we might not get as much coverage, but we're just so focused on us and just, you know, want to win every game. We just approach every game just, you know, we want to go out there and perform. We want to execute. We want to play for each other. Like I said, it is noticed, but we're not. That's not something we're talking about in the locker room. Not even remotely close.
Understood. I couldn't follow. Coach said the other day she was shocked you guys got here. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I can't lie. I am a little bit, just because, and we all said this, like, we didn't know what to really expect from our team, and just to see that we're back at the Final Four, it's pretty amazing.
Okay. If we could move to Rob on our right-hand side.
Hey, ladies, congratulations on getting here. Rob Knox, the next. Want to ask about one of your teammates, a two-part question. What have you noticed about Tessa's growth during the tournament, and how is she as a teammate? How much fun is she?
We'll start with Bree.
Well, Tessa's growth has, you know, it's been tremendous, honestly. Her defense has improved a lot since the beginning of the season. Her shooting and just her confidence overall has just really grown, and you can see it, like, you know, like I said, on the floor. And how is she as a teammate? She's hilarious. She's very goofy, very funny, just always brings the energy, and just always brings that just liveliness that you need.
Yeah, I know. I'm really proud of Tessa's growth. Her confidence has grown so much, not even the tournament, but the past year. And she's just become she's become very reliable for us, and we trust her. And it's just so amazing to see her growth as a freshman, and just she's not afraid to shoot the ball or, you know, guard the best player on the court. So I'm just really happy for her. I'm excited for her future. And as a teammate, she's a freshman. She's gonna act like a freshman. She's gonna, you know, act a little like a little kid sometimes. That's a good word to put. But she's just going to be who she is, and she's just really fun to be around with, and we all love her so much.
We're going to stay to our left. James.
James Watkins, Cleveland.com. You guys just mentioned that the coach has done a good job adjusting to you guys, which is something I think she mentioned after the Elite Eight game too, that she had to adjust to your energy. How has she adjusted? What's different?
I'm sorry. Yes, Bree, please proceed.
Well, I'll say from the previous years, we had lots of older players, they were fun too, but this team is like a different level of childishness. Like, it's ridiculous, but it's in a good way. Like, we're just always trying to have fun with each other, always just trying to take a part of the moment. But the way that she's adjusted, I think she's just kind of loosened up. I don't know. I think that's a good way to put it. She just realizes that there's some things that you can't take care of when it comes to us, and there's some things you just kind of have to let go because it is who we are, and it's just something that's kind of out of her control. And what I mean by that, I mean like talking and goofing around and stuff like that. So she just kind of goes with the flow.
Te-Hina?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. She's also like, she lets us be who we are, but at times she's gonna have to, chime in and be like, hey, like none of that, or like, I think it was after the UN, or like before the UNC game, we got like super hype, and I think that was like the worst game we ever started out. And then after the game, she was like, don't do that no more. Like, don't get hyped before the games. And like, we never done any of that after that. And so just to see her adjust and tell us what to do and, be who she is, it's a great sight to see, and just we know when to handle business, because when she tells us to handle business, we're gonna do that. So it's been just really fun to be around her and the team as well.
We've hit our time with our student athletes. At this time, student athletes, both Bree and Te-Hina, will be available in our mix zone. Our locker room is also now open and available. At this time, we'll take questions from Coach. Christy, we'll start with you, then I'll come over to Doug, Chantel, Nancy, and then we'll work our way around.
Christy Winter-Scott, Big Ten Network. Dawn, what has been the biggest evolution of the team from day one to now, especially with Te-Hina's addition with her three-point shooting?
From day one, we're just more disciplined. We're just a more focused group, and just the chemistry that was formed organically. I think I wouldn't say they were miserable, and misery loves company, but it was more than the majority was out of shape. So when you're out of shape, if you're looking to your left or your right and the other person's out of shape, you just basically hold hands and try to get in shape. But they've created a bond that happened just on, it wasn't forced by the coaching staff. Obviously, we like to be a lot more disciplined, and we like to adhere to the standards that we've had throughout the years that we've been successful, and we found success in that correlation. And then this team pretty much blows up all of that, like in one summer. And then they figure out a way to work together. I think a lot of that had to do with our performance coach, Molly Bonetti, because she had the tall task, the very tall task. She said this was probably the most out of shape, like really not very competitive team that she's ever had to work with. And I think part of that is just we were so young. Like when you're having, multiple players from high school that they're used to working on their time. They're the biggest fish in the small pond in their high school, and they can run the roost. You bring those habits into our setting, and you don't think things are important. Like breakfast is important to us, so you got to get up and come to breakfast. Someone would miss breakfast. Someone would just miss meetings. Like some of them just didn't respond to text messages. Like, where did they do that? And then you have to insert yourself as a coach and a coaching staff to say that's not how we do things. But you can't expect that from the jump because it haven't been that way. So we had to create the habits. They created really good habits, and they started holding each other accountable for their actions, both on and off the court, because, when one person acts out, we pretty much use it as a team learning lesson. So, pretty cool evolution of how this team has created an identity that helps them perform at a high level.
We're going to move to our right, Coach Doug.
Hey, Coach Doug Feinberg, AP. You've been around in the game for a minute as a player and as a coach. It seems in the last couple of years, the growth of the women's game, which you've been a big part of with what you've done with South Carolina, has come closer to the men's tournament as far as popularity. I mean, this year, I don't know if people are even talking about the men's tournament at all, except for you kind of having flight issues. What do you see from your side of it? Is just the growth? I mean, 12.3 million watching the other day. I think you said you're going to be one of them. The ticket prices for this weekend are insane on the secondary market. What have you seen as far as the growth and compared to where it used to be?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been the build-up. It's been the build-up. Our games has built up because we've been held back. Quite frankly, we've been held back a very, very long time. To now, I think the fact that our TV deal was up, and I think ESPN has done a great job at broadcasting and giving us access to a lot of games came on television this year that, you know, I probably watched the most out of any year this particular year. There's the talent, there's the experienced talent that people want to see. There's a younger generation talent that people want to see, and it's in high demand. And there's no other place to go besides broadcast them. And I just feel like that we're going to get there. We're going to get there. I think the next thing that we need to make sure that our game has is the units. Like you look at what the 68 teams are going to divide up. I think it's 100. I saw 170 million between the 68 teams. When you start bringing in revenue like that, you know, it will move your campus in a different direction when it comes to women. So we got to fight for that.
Chantel.
Hey, Dom, to your right. Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. You said in Albany that having a group like the Freshies, sort of having last year and the way it did, it rocked you. I was curious what that actually looks like. You know, Raven had said last week, like, you don't sweat. I don't think we see you sweat. Like, what did that actually look like for you? And did that make the process of, like, adjusting to this group and their personality harder? Or
with the Freshies and transition into this team, I mean, obviously the Freshies hold a special place in my heart. They all chose to come to South Carolina, knowing that some of them will have to sacrifice. Even them had to sacrifice. They just did things the right way. We had, for 4 years, nothing, like, seriously, no issues. No issues. If there were issues, they handled them. They came to practice every single day. They never looked at a practice card. Never. And they were just upstanding. I couldn't, like, and then I got used to it. You get used to, you know, your life being a little bit easier as a coach on and off the court. And then once they all graduate, you know, you have this different set. And I really am drawn to challenges. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for latenesses. I wasn't ready for, you know, no communication. I wasn't ready for, you know, all the things that come with having a younger team. I wasn't used to not having a leader just really take hold of situations and handle them. So the transition was hard, but then once I started to look at it as a challenge, it was better. I wasn't gonna let them get the best of me, our staff, or our program, or what we built. And that's when it started clicking in, like, this must happen. Like this, we gotta get a hold of this very, very quickly, or else it's not gonna work out for a part of us, either them or our coaching staff, one. and we're strong. We're a very strong coaching staff that will not allow anyone to destroy what we built. But now, I mean, they've taught me how to fall back some. They taught me how to. There's a number of ways to be successful. They taught me that I have to pivot and do things a little bit differently than we normally do things. It's a new normal, but the standard is still the standard, which I really, really appreciate. Like, and now that we are where we are, it's, you know, it's really truly pleasant. They're pleasant to be around because they're better listeners when they're locked in, and their families are really good. Like their parents are really good. They tell me you know, what they don't like, what they do like. You know, they're very appreciative of the process, and the parents know what this team has put us through, and they're really, really appreciative of how far we've come, and they don't shy away from sending the text letting us know that.
Coach, we're going to stay to our left. We'll get Bill from Sporting News, and I'll work my way back over. We have about approximately 5 minutes left of availability in this room, and then again, Coach will be available in the open locker room.
Coach Bill Bender, Sporting News. When you look at this Final Four, and there's a lot of talk about parity, but there's also powerhouses here, traditional powerhouses. Given who's here and all the growth around the game, does that heighten the experience for you to be here and maybe, you know, I don't want to say you have to win it all, but heighten that what's going around with this one?
No, I mean, it's the same. You want to win. I mean, your competitive juices are flowing. You can see the finish line. You can see it. You can see it. For us, we can see it. And it's not disrespecting the process or not disrespecting our opponent. But once you get here, they can see it. NC State can see it. UConn can see it. Iowa can see the end of the finish line. There's one and a possible games left for all of us. And I want to win. Flat out, I want to win.
Coach, we'll move to our right. Nancy, if you could raise your hand so Coach can see you as well.
Yep. Don, Nancy Armour with USA Today Sports. Kind of piggybacking off of Doug's question, we've seen with women's sports times previously that it looked as if it was getting over the hump, whether it was the 96 Olympics, 99 World Cup. Do you have a different sense, or do you feel that this is different, that there won't be a, kind of pulling back that we've seen with previous highs?
I think it's going to be different. I mean, you can see it in the amount of games that's televised. You can see it in the personalities, like the personalities that are on, that are analyzing our game and the storytellers of our game. They're different, and there's new leadership. I think there's new leadership when it comes to the decision makers of our game, and I do think they're taking it more personal to allow our game to grow and continue to grow. And I know it is going to be because of their leadership that it opens up to a place where hopefully we'll be able to hear about how, like, the inner workings of what made this particular leadership group allow women's basketball to grow, because I like to see it and hear about it.
Coach, we're going to stay to our left. If you could raise your hand higher so she can get the microphone to you.
Hi, Coach. Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. With NC State back in the Final Four, it's kind of a time to reflect a little bit on Kay Yao's legacy. Didn't know if you had any particular memories of Kay Yao, and in particular, I came across like a 1991 game that when you were with UVA, you played against NC State 123-120 in double overtime. Seemed quite iconic.
Yep, I fouled out in regulation. Kay Yao is iconic. And I know that she probably has a hand on NC State being here. They got an angel up in heaven that is still coaching them up, and spiritually, maybe some of these players know of her legacy or not. But anytime that someone that's coached Olympic teams, that's a legend in coaching. They'll always have a spirit about their program. So, I mean, I hope she's happy. I really do. I hope she's truly happy with Wes, Moore, and their Wolfpack team being here in the Final Four. And I mean, it's a really happy time especially when you haven't been here in a long time. I think Wes Moore probably said it earlier in that it may not have been it's their best team on paper, because 2 years ago they had a really, really good team that was probably projected to be in the Final Four, and they didn't make it. And it's funny how, you get hot and you get the unlikeliest group to get to the mountaintop. Basketball, it's funny in that way. Like, you persevere and you figure out ways in which to shock the world, and I'm sure they shocked the world when it comes to where they were at the beginning of the season to where they are now. And I think it's a beautiful story.
Coach, we are at time. I want to thank you for your time today, and best of luck on Friday.
Thank you.